All right, Shalom, Akim. We would like to start off by giving our honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Kakudash. Never understood our apostles, great millstone, well. Peace and blessed house of David the elect. All right.
All right, we GMS Mississippi Camp, and we coming, with our weekly lesson, going into, all right, how he had power, all right, to give life to the image of the beast, man. Because as of late, as we see, all right, this RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast, all right, being implemented, all right, being constantly, all right, just integrated within day-to-day society, man. All right, you got, do-it-yourself implantable chip kits, that you can get into. Brother brought out an article how they chipping homeless people, man. So to understand the mark of the beast, you got to understand what the beast is, man. And that's what a lot of people what the beast is, man. All right, it's talking about a system. It's talking about a power structure. It's talking about a nation, man. And the elites, all right, is the source, all right, behind this beast system, man. Which we're gonna get into some history, and just go into it, get a few precepts, Lord will, brothers be edified. Now we got a book called, which is a $12 book you can get on Amazon, a pretty good book. Got some good information in it, for brothers who are, into the history, So we're gonna read some of it and get some precepts. All right, you can bring it out. You had something? Go ahead.
Hey, this is real quick. Hey, this is Daniel 7:3.
Yep.
And 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another.
Yep.
I'm gonna jump down for you, bro. Daniel 7 and Daniel 7 and 17. These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth.
Yep. So 4 kingdoms which shall rise out of the earth, man. And it talks about that 4th beast, which we're gonna get into earlier, was diverse from the rest, man. And we currently living, all right, within that same beast, that 4th beast that Daniel spoke of, man. So now when you go into the elites, you got to go back to the origin, which goes back to the first, 1776, man. And what the elites do, find different sellouts within governments of nations, and they slither their way, into control of these different nations, man. Now, when you go into America, all right, the main reason, for the revolt against the British was taxation, what they call taxation without representation, man, what you learn in school. They were talking about the elites, man. You go into the history of King George, so the British colony broke away in America, and the elites, all right, have been hell bent on trying to get control of this American government. So now we're going to fast forward to the early 1900s, when the elites really get a foothold within the American government, take the driver's seat, as far as controlling America, man, creating America a superpower, then forming, all right, this modern day beast system, which we see today, man. So you can start.
All right. Facts of Facts, written by Dr. David Goldstein, LLD. All right, of Boston, Massachusetts, by his author Benjamin H. Friedman. All right, this is page 8 in Roman numerals. It says, "What happened? World War I broke out in the summer of 1914. There are few people here my age who remember that. Now, that war was waged on one side by Great Britain, France, and Russia, and on the other side by Germany, Austria, Hungary, and Turkey. Within 2 years, Germany had won that war. Not only won it nominally, but won it actually. The German submarines, which were a surprise to the world, had swept all the convoys from the Atlantic Ocean."
So going into what team, all right, Germany goes back to those Teamanites, all right, which is the wisest of the Edomites. And you see how they had them submarines, how they had the advantage on the other Edomite countries, man. Go ahead, bro.
Okay. Great Britain stood there without ammunition for her soldiers, with 1 week's food supply. At that time, the French army had they had lost 600,000 of the flower of French youth and the defensive burden of the Somme. The Russian army was defecting. They were picking up their toys and going home.
So Germany was kicking ass in World War I, man. You know, and when you go into the history, guess who was within, all right, Germany, man? Those Amalekites, man. All right, they was bankrolling those Germans, man. You know, go ahead, bro.
All right. They didn't want to play war anymore. They didn't like the Caesar, the Tsar, and the Italian army had collapsed. Not a shot had been fired on German soil. Not one enemy soldier had crossed the border into Germany. And yet Germany was offering England peace terms. They offered England a negotiated peace on what the lawyers call a status quo anti-basis. That means let's call the war off and let everything be as it were before the war started.
So you had Germany, you know, which had won the war. You know, they had doing a slaughterhouse over there in Britain and France. You know, in Russia, they said they just started going home, man. You know, so Germany would dominate. All right, so they came to the table to try to make a peace, all right, treaty. You know, with England, man. You know, and we gonna go into what the elite step in and how they maneuver and manipulate the war, man. Go ahead, bro.
All right. England in the summer of 1916 was considering that seriously. They had no choice. It was either accepting this negotiated peace that Germany was magnanimously offering them or going on with the war and being totally defeated. While that was going on, the Zionists in Germany, who represented the Zionists from Eastern Europe, went to the British War Cabinet, and I am going to be brief because it's a long story. But I have all the documents to prove any statement that I make. They said, look here, you can yet win this war. You don't have to give up. You don't have to accept the negotiated peace offered to you now by Germany. You can win this war if the United States will come in as your ally.
So these are the bankers talking to Britain a peace treaty of Germany war. All right, if we bring in the U.S. and make them your ally, go ahead.
All right, the United States was not in the war at the time. We were fresh, we were young, we were rich, we were powerful, they told England. We were guaranteed to bring the United States into the war as your ally, to fight with you on your side. If you would promise us power.
And me and they were like, look, y'all keep fighting this war. We're going to bring America in. And not only that, you know, y'all just promise us Palestine after y'all win this war, man. Not mind you, the British has no legal authority over Palestine, man. You see?
Because they were standing up Palestine for World War II.
Yeah.
Moving fake Jews and
Gun. Yep. Got it, bro.
In other words, they made this deal. We will get the United States into this war as your ally. The price you must pay is Palestine after you have won the war and defeated Germany, Austria, Hungary, and Turkey. Now, England had as much right to promise Palestine to anybody as the United States would have to promise Japan to Ireland for any reason whatsoever.
Matter of fact, give Michael 2-on-1, bro. You know, because this is what Esau do, man. How can you promise somebody else another nation's land, you know, with people on it and everything, man? You know, this is how these Edomites maneuver across the planet Earth, man. They colonize, they take, you know, and they make deals, all right, with your shit, you know, that you don't even know nothing about, man. You know?
So this is Michael 2 and 2.
Yeah, you start there, bro.
He say they covet fields and take them by battle.
You started with one.
That's the only one. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity.
Yep.
And work evil upon their bed.
Yep.
When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand.
All right, so these elites, they devise wickedness, and in the morning they practice it, man, because they have these councils. All right, then they carry these councils out, man. You know, just like we sitting here in the room now, the elites gather together, they come up with the council, and then they go out, all right, and execute it, man. You know, because it's within the power of their hands, because they have the finances to do so, man. You know, you keep going on there, bro.
I got a quick one for you.
Oh, you come.
Okay. And this is Habakkuk 2 and 5.
Yeah.
Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keep at home, who enlarged his desire as hell,
yep,
and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations and heap unto him all people.
And he never keep it at home, man. All right. Just like you said, that America didn't have no business in that war, man. You know? But what did Esau do, man? You know? All he is about war, man. You know? Read that, they say that Micah 2:2, so like.
Michael 2:2, it says, and they cover fields, and they take them by violence.
Going into Habakkuk 2:5. All right. He never satisfied, man. Go ahead, bro.
And houses, and take them away.
Yeah.
So they oppress the man and his house.
Why? Because his inheritance is gone. If you take that man land, you took everything away from him.
Because as a man, that's all you had to pay attention to was the land, the resources that was on that land.
Right.
You know? But now you don't have that no more. You oppressed, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You gotta go and clock in.
Yep.
Right. Man and his heritage.
Yep. And that's what Esau had done. Because your heritage was going back to what? Your inheritance, man. You see? You can keep reading, bro.
All right. It's absolutely absurd that Great Britain, that never had any connection or any interest or any right in what is known as Palestine, will offer it as coin of the realm to pay the Zionists for bringing the United States into the war.
Yeah.
However, they did make that promise in October of 1916, and shortly after that, I don't know how many here remember it, the United States, which was almost totally pro-German, entered the war as Britain's ally.
So elites brought a whole country into a war, man, showing you the influence and the power that the elites had in the early 1900s, man. You see? That's who had that power to get this image, to get life to the image of the beast, man. You see? They had the finances and the influence, all right, and all these different regions across the earth, all right, to pull this off, man. You know? Oh, you had something, bro?
Correct. This Psalm 64:2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. The secret counsel of the wicked is known as Illuminati. The biggest power of them was their secrecy. Yeah. And it says, who wet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows and shoot their arrows, even bitter words.
Yeah, because they operate in secrecy, man. You see, because they own the news and the media. See, they'll tell you that America got in World War I, you know, for a whole other reason than what actually happened, man. You see, you listen to their media, that have you thinking, okay, this is why America's in the war. When really, it was all going back to the plan to take Palestine, you know, so when World War II happened, they can fake the Holocaust, and they already got a land where they can put those so-called Jews in, man.
Yeah.
You see?
And if I can add, you know, when you go into the three world wars by Albert Pike, he stated also it was to take the to overthrow the power of the czars in Russia.
Yeah.
And of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism. You know what I'm saying? Because basically Esau was just had one stone, but he was just knocking out a lot of birds with one stone. But the point of the lesson is basically why America was actually involved in World War I.
And that goes into how they wet their tongue with little bitter words. You know, going to those draconian laws. Yeah, and you know the word draconian goes into severe. Harsh, you know, and what also just validates that is how they made the state of Israel, they proclaimed it as the state of Israel in 1948. And how they made 1948, man. You know, those draconian laws.
Can I back all up?
And this is, and, you know, and also, you know, and once you say something about those fake Jews nowadays, look how they come against you now.
They call you anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semitic. But it's supposed to be Semitic.
Right. And this is by Gutzel Shanappa. Now, she was the mother of the Rothschilds, and she stated, if my sons did not want wars, there would be none.
Right. You know, because what did you have? You had Germany coming to actually make a peace deal. You know, Germany was the winner. They was a powerhouse. They killed 600,000, all right, of the French standing army, man. You know, the ball was in their court. They could have kept the war going and just been a bully by it. But they were like, look, let's make an agreement. And also, we just going to go back to like it was before the war started. You know, they weren't trying to take different cities, you know, from those different European countries, man. You know, they were trying to just look, all right, just fall back, man. We good, you know, just like trying to fight and then you shake hands on.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Germany trying to do, you know. But the elites, they were like, nah, you know, we got some more shit to do. We got some more agendas, man. Right. You know, we need y'all to keep going. And matter of fact, we're gonna get American this shit too, man. You know? Right. Read that, bro.
All right, this Psalms 141. Yep. It says, to the chief musician, Psalm from David. It said, deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man.
Yep.
Preserve me from the violent man.
And that violent man is Esau Edom. His nature is just violence, man. You know? And we can see that as we read about these facts, man. All right, go ahead.
It says, which image mischiefs in their hearts.
Which imagine mischief in their hearts and their mind, because that's a mischief that these elites continue to imagine, man. Go ahead, bro.
2. It says, which imagine mischiefs in their heart.
Yep.
Continually are they gathered together for war.
Continually are they gathered together for war, man. Nigga can't stop fighting, man.
Yeah.
You know, he got to keep the war going, man. You know, that's just the nature of these Edomites, man.
Yeah, because when you think about Esau was a man of the field.
Mm-hmm.
You go back to Cain. Cain was a tiller of the ground.
Yep.
Right? These men are built, they programmed to be warlike individuals, man.
Yep. You got it,
All right. This is the Zionists in London had sent cables to the United States to Justice Brandeis saying, go to work on President Wilson. We're getting from England what we want.
So the lease is saying, look, you go to work on Wilson. We got England. We got them doing exactly what we want, man. All right? And that's a cut to you niggas. This is 100 years ago, man. Yeah. And you got niggas still talking about go vote. You know? Showing you that the president ain't got no power, man. You know, the elites been broke that down, man. You know, they been bought out the American government, man. You know? Go ahead, bro.
All right. Now you go to work on President Wilson and get the United States into the war. That's how the United States got into the war. We had no more interest in it. We had no more right to be in it than we have to be on the moon tonight instead of this room. There was absolutely no reason for the world war to be our war. We were railroaded into it. If I can be vulgar, we were suckered into it. That war merely so that the Zionists of the world could obtain Palestine. That is something that the people of the United States have never been told.
And they classified that war as one of the most bloodiest wars ever, man. And it was all on behalf of the fucking elite, man. You know, even on Troy, they said that war is nothing but old men talking and young men dying.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it was, man. All right, because you signed up thinking you were defending your country, but really you're fighting for an agenda of a man that you'll never meet. Because even on Troy said, you fight for kings. All right, warriors win the battle, but the kings get the glory, man.
Exactly.
You know.
He also said something about the men fight and they never seen the king.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You never seen the elite, man. If that nigga was beside you in Walmart, all right, Evelyn Rothschild was beside one of those soldiers in Walmart, they wouldn't even know it, man.
You can barely meet the governor and senator of your fucking state, yet alone the fucking president, yet alone the fucking shadow government, Charlie Rothschild.
I got a quick quote, Henry Kissinger. He said, military men are just dumb, stupid animals to be used as pawns in foreign policy.
It should be like Battleship, that damn game. Yeah. They be sitting back and they just make motherfuckers do this.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
That is something that the people of the United States have never been told. They never knew why we went into World War I. After we get into the war, the Zionists went to Great Britain and they said, well, we performed our part of the agreement. Let's have something in writing that shows that you are going to keep your bargain and give us Palestine after you win the war. They didn't know whether the war would last another year or another 10 years. So they started to work out a receipt. The receipt took the form of a letter, which was worded in very cryptic language so the world at large wouldn't know what it was all about, and that was called the Balfour Declaration.
So the Balfour Declaration is a receipt, all right, from Great Britain to those Zionists, those elites for the land of Palestine, man. Like this the receipt, you know. Like you go to the store, buy something, you get a receipt for it. The Balfour Declaration was a receipt to that land. You see? Where is that in the scriptures, you know, that the Balfour Declaration will put us back into the promised land, man? You know? Showing you that those are not the people, man. Go ahead, bro.
The Balfour Declaration was really Great Britain's promise to pay the Zionists what they had agreed upon as a consideration for getting the United States into the war. So this great Balfour Declaration that you hear so much about is just as phony as a $3 bill. I don't think I can make it more emphatic than that.
That was a gun. And this guy, what's his name?
His name is Dr. David Goldstein of Boston, Massachusetts, by his author Benjamin H. Friedman.
And that's a so-called Jew.
Right.
You see, but he fell out, you know, with those Jews, all right, those so-called Jews in the early 1900s, man. He was in the inner circle, man, around the Kennedys. He was up there with the high families, man, you know, but he fell out with them, you know, over a bad business deal, all right, and he started telling, man. You see? So at the end of the day, I'm going to go into, he had power, all right, to give life unto the image of the beast, man. You know, because now that was the First World War, then you had the Second World War, all right? Well, then shortly after the Second World War, what did you have, man? Let's get that article about the NATO,
Okay.
you know?
This is from historytoday.com, and the title says the founding of NATO, which is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which was founded in April 4th, 1949. The North Atlantic Treaty, signed by 12 nations on Monday afternoon in Washington, D.C., saw the U.S. accept the lead in the free world's post-war resistance to communist aggression and subversion. Unprecedented in American peacetime history, it was the product of more than a year of political and diplomatic activity in which leading roles were played by Senator Battenberg and General Marshall of the U.S., Ernest Bevin of Britain, and Lester Pearson of Canada. The treaty bound its signatories to treat an armed attack against any one of them as aggression against all, and to react with any action necessary, including armed force. It was drawn up by a working party of diplomats from the U.S., Great Britain, Canada, France, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg.
And that's the point on it. Now, we're going to go, all right, to history and see who had that same setup, man. You know, who had that same type of setup, man. Then we're going to get that in prophecy, man, and you know, and finish it out. You got it, bro.
You know, first Maccabees 8 and 11, right?
Shit. Yeah, this first Maccabees 8 and 11. You familiar with the Maccabees, you know, all right, the Judas Maccabees, you know, started reaching out, all right, to the Roman Republic, man, because it was a republic before it was an empire, all right? So he's reaching out to the Roman Republic, you know, because he had heard the fame of, you know, so it's going to go into it, all right, as he reaching out to him, what he heard about him, you know, and then it's going to go into the letter that the Romans sent back to Judas Maccabees, because he had sent a letter to make a league with him, man, you know? Yeah, bro.
Okay, this is first Maccabees 8 and 11. That was told him besides how they destroyed and brought under their dominion all other kingdoms and powers that at any time resisted them.
And the Republic, he heard the fame there. So
Hey, can I bring out a quick precept, bro? Get it done.
I think it was Revelation 13. Okay.
Daniel 7:7. And after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, it for a beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great, it devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
And it's going to break that down in Maccabees as well, because you go to the iron teeth. All right, that's that military and those iron weaponry, man, which the elder Apostle Hart had went into not too long ago, man. All right, Rome had, you know, superior iron weaponry, man. You know, Yeah.
Right, back in First Maccabees 8 and 11, it was told him besides how they destroyed and brought under their dominion all other kingdoms and isles that at any time resisted them. And this goes to show you that this is the prophecy of the Most High, you know, his blueprint.
Cause this was Daniel had this prophecy like 300 plus years prior. You know, go ahead. Bro.
But with their friends and such as relied upon them, they kept amity.
They're who? They're allies.
And
Right?
peace.
They're vassal states. You know what they would consider vassal states, man. Go ahead.
And that they had conquered kingdoms both far and nigh, insomuch as all that heard of their name were afraid of them. Also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reigned.
Yep.
And whom again they displaced, finally that they were greatly exalted.
So just like America sets up puppet government, all right, and if you're not down, all right, with the American agenda or the EU, all right, this westernized agenda, they demonize you, then they come take you out, man. You see, same
spirit.
Yeah, same spirit, man. You know, you got it, bro.
Yet for all this, none of them wore a crown or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereby.
They was diverse from the three previous beasts, you know. All right, because the three previous beasts had different kings, man.
Right.
You know, go ahead, bro.
This is why.
Yep.
And moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house. When you go into the term senate house, it means elderly or old men. Wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people to the end they might be well ordered.
And all you gotta do is turn on C-SPAN right now. You're gonna see this right here live, man. You know, go ahead, bro.
And that they committed their government to one man every year.
Come on, man. That's like they see. Now would you have presidents, man? Go ahead, bro.
Who ruled over all their country, and that all were obedient to that one, and that there was neither envy nor emulation among them.
Okay.
In consideration of those things, Judas chose Eupolemus, the son of John, the son of Achos, and Jason, the son of Eleazar, and sent them to Rome to make a league of amity and confederacy with them, and to entreat them that they would take the yoke from them, for they saw that the kingdom of the Grecians did oppress Israel with servitude.
So you had Judas reaching out because he's hearing the fame of this Roman Republic, and like, man, we need to be in league with them. You know? Go ahead.
They went therefore to Rome, which was a very great journey, and came into a senate, where they spake and said, Judas Maccabees with his brethren and the people of the Jews have sent us unto you to make a confederacy and peace with you, and that we might be registered your confederates and friends.
Go ahead.
Please the Romans well.
Go ahead.
And this is the copy of the epistle which the Senate wrote back again in tables of brass and sent to Jerusalem, that there they might have by them a memorial of peace and confederacy. Good success be to the Romans and to the people of the Jews by sea and by land forever. Swore also an enemy be far from them.
So this is the epistle, all right, the letter that the Romans wrote back, all right, to the Jews, man. All right, go ahead.
If there come first any war upon the Romans or any of their confederates throughout all their dominion, the people of the Jews shall help them as the time shall be appointed with all their heart.
Go ahead.
Neither shall they give anything unto them that make war upon them, or aid them with victuals, weapons, money, or ships, as it have seemed good unto the Romans, but they shall keep their covenants without taking anything thereof. Therefore,
now what do you have with America? Now America's into it with Iran, you know. So what are they telling their EU confederates, man? Don't buy oil from them. Don't use their money and currency. You see, it's the same system, man. All right, it's the same outline, man. You know, so if we fight with you, it means our allies can't do no more business with you, man. And that's what you have, this discrepancy between the NATO and the EU and America today, man. You know, you gotta go.
In the same manner also the war come first upon the nation of the Jews. The Romans shall help them with all their heart, according as the time shall be appointed them. Neither shall victuals be given to them to take part against them, or weapons, or money, or ships, as it have seemed good to the Romans, but they shall keep their covenants, and that without deceit.
So read the end of the article again for me, bro, about the NATO.
It says, right here it says back in historytoday.com, the treaty bound its signatories to treat an armed attack against any one of them as aggression against all, and to react with any action necessary, including the armed force. It was drawn up by a working party of diplomats from the U.S., Great Britain, Canada, France, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg, which began work in July 1948 and produced a draft text in December.
So what you had, the Balfour Declaration in 1948, and you had the NATO form in 1948, and they had the same outline and layout, all right, as these ancient Romans, man. You know?
I got you.
Yeah.
Revelation 17 and 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
Yep.
For the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled.
And we come into what's going to be fulfilled, and these nations going to burn the whore, which is a miracle, with fire, man. You know? So we're going to go into Revelation 13, you know, and get ready to close out, man. And you can pull up that Treaty of Rome. We're going to read a little bit of that. We go ahead and read that.
Revelation 13 and 1.
Yep.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns.
Yep. And now, you know, 7 heads and 10 horns represents Esau power structures, man, throughout history, man. You know, those 7 heads, all right, going into Germania, you know, major, minor, you know, French, Spain, all right, Britain, you know, what else you had, the Greeks and the Romans, you know, that's those 7 major power structures, all right, within Esau's existence, man. That was his major power structure, with the Greeks, all right, being the first, man. You know, you gotta go.
All right. Having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear.
If I can add, even when we talk about the EU, they actually started off with 10 countries.
Yep.
Going into the 10, what the elder just wrote. But what they tried to do was to offset prophecy. They added more countries to the EU.
Yeah. Well, those actually were 10 flagpoles erected. And going into the leopard, all right, was the Greeks were the first Edomite, all right, empire, you know, to rule, you know, and then that bear goes to Russia will be the last. Watch the feet, man. All right, the end of it, man. You know, go ahead, bro.
And his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power.
And the lion represents Great Britain.
Finance, man. You know. See how the elites are able to just manipulate world wars, you know. Go ahead, bro.
And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
Yep.
And I saw one of the
dragon, the pagan Roman Empire.
Verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
And the head that was wounded was the Roman Empire, man. All right, going back during the time what they call the Dark Ages, man. All right, when Jake took Esau down, you know, it's Septimius Severus going into Constantinople, you know, during their reign, the Byzantine Empire, man, you know, and then Esau, all right, his deadly wound was healed, coming back in the Renaissance, man, leading all the way up to today, all right, which we're gonna get the Treaty of Rome, and this is when that deadly wound, all right, was healed, man.
Can I get you real quick? Yeah. And this is Revelation 20 and 3. And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years shall be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season.
And that's what's happened, man. He's been loosed this little season, man, because when he was bound those 1,000 years, he was pushed out. You know, he had no influence on the earth, man. That's why Esau liked to say nothing was going on during the dark age, all right? Because he didn't have no influence on the earth, man. You know, because he was pushed out, man. All right? But then he came back into power, you know, and he's been deceiving the whole planet Earth, man. He done set himself up to be the Messiah, you know. He done set himself up to be the Most High. You know, he had deceived the interpretation of the Bible, thinking, has everyone thinking that everyone could be saved, and, you know, the Gentiles are actually other nations, and just all type of blasphemy and madness that he's been deceiving the earth with, man.
Right.
You know?
Because even when you go into that term deceit, it means to lead into error or sin. Via the Renaissance, like the brothers breaking down.
You get that treated wrong. This that daily wound being healed, man. And we seen it start back in World War I, man. You see? And you can jump to 15 Revelation. That's it.
And this is from the website called The Telegraph. It says, what is the Treaty of Rome? It says March 25th, 2017 marks the 60th anniversary of the agreement that effectively gave birth to the European Union. Here's everything you need to know about the Treaty of Rome. The Treaty of Rome established the European Economic Community, EEC, which is seen as a major stepping stone in the creation of the EU. The EEC established a common market, which gave members the freedom to move goods, services, capital, and people, and also in customs union.
They say service, good, capital, and people. You know, it's that beast, man. Because what he say on 300 was a beast made of?
Yeah, he said that this beast is a beast made of man, weaponry, and slaves.
Come on, man. You know? So the EU, all right, was the economic agreement, all right, between all these nations, man. They embodied this beast system, man. The European, you know, was the military, all right, and America, their superpower, their horde, they rise upon this beast, man. You see?
What's up with the agenda, per se?
So it's a
the curriculum of the shit.
we're gonna go back to that last part you read about the trading of goods and stuff. We read you can read Revelation 13 and 15.
All right, Revelation 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
And that's what we see happening, man. At the end, the beast is speaking now, man. Which he brought animation to the beast, man.
That's right.
All right, through forging these different treaties. You had the NATO, you had the Treaty of Rome, you had 2 world wars. Who was behind all of them, man? Who was behind all this, man? You know, these elites, man. You know, Esau, Edom, man. You know. You gotta go. Keep reading now. Read 16.
All right, verse 16. And he causes all, both Revelation 13 and 16. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he that hath the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name.
All right, so now you say you can't buy or sell without the mark. Now read the last part you read about the Treaty of Rome, what it was set up for.
It said the EEC established a common market which gave members the freedom to move goods, services, capital, and people, and also a customs union among the founding states.
Come on, man. All right, that's what this whole thing is being set up for, man. You see, now we understand what the beast is, who gave power to it, where it stemmed from, going back to the ancient pagan Roman Empire, and how it's the same parallel today, man. All right, that's why that mark, all right, that's going to be what's going to lock you into this beast system, man. You know, they want to make a treaty of wrong with everybody, man. You know, but those are I had.
One of these episodes I got right here from Spartacus. One of the episodes we called The Red Serpent. And for the plot outline, it says a Thracian warrior was going to Spartacus, enlisted by the Romans to fight as his destiny sealed by an act of rebellious violence. As punishment, he faces death by being forced to fight in the gladiatorial arena. So that red serpent, that was a vision his wife had that was going to overtake him. You know, that red serpent, man, that dragon. Show you that Esau knows, man.
Yep. And that serpent represents the high form of wickedness, that crafty, man. You know, because he said they suckered America into a war. Why you trick a nation to fight a whole war?
Yeah.
And that's that same spirit that came over here and spoke with Gad. And that's why Gad called him a forked tongue. You know, they call him serpents, man.
Right. Because when you classify a serpent, you liken it to a dragon. It's the highest form of intelligence. Hey, Bruce Lee entered the dragon. There was no higher. He couldn't go any higher in the form of martial arts. And I want to say too, man, bro. You know, Aki, you can check it out. I think it's posted on Apostle Gabar's page. But the brother from Washington, Bashai, he did a video in the book of Maccabees. You know, going into like their registry. You know, Ptolemy and all of that, man. So basically, the piece itself is the same people doing the same acts.
Right.
To the form of what we call reincarnation.
Nothing new on the same
spirit.
Yeah.
Romans 15:4.
Yeah.
Well, for whatsoever things were written aforetime, written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort the scriptures might have hope.
So that we understand that these beast systems, you know, these because reincarnated kingdoms are reincarnated as well. Man. That's why America is known as what? Spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt, the Syrians, you know, the daughter of Babylon. You know why, man? Because these things are reincarnated. The spirit of these different kingdoms,
Right.
you know.
Because like I say, like in the same brother, because they push you. Like you see, the man, right? If you think about Afghanistan, why they going to Afghanistan? It was what you call it?
Popular.
It's popular. They went to Vietnam. They was in Kuwait. Because they moved. It's like they have some and they take.
Yeah, be good though. That's all why they come through.
That's right. Like Obadiah, I was like Obadiah said, you know, like if these come in and still want to lead somebody, this is how they are.
They want it out.
They want it out.
If their country's leaders against America, then they'll deem them as a terrorist.
That's right.
And try to overthrow them or knock them out.
Because they that's the man. That's the man about who. That's the man that about talk about them elites.
All right, well, with that, we're going to brothers edified. Once again, we want to give all honor and glory to
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. The honest apostles, great minister, rule well. Peace and blessed in the house of David, the elect. Till next time, shalom.
Shalom.